In this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to make the Charmer headband. This pattern comes in two different sizes, one for children and one for adults. The free pattern is available on my blog and the premium PDF is also available to purchase. For this pattern, I have used King Cole Cotton Soft DK. I have done this in the colour Iris and also the colour Dusky. But this yarn comes in some really beautiful shades, so make sure that you go and take a look. I'm using a 4mm crochet hook, but you can use whichever hook size either to your yarn or to hit gauge. You're going to need a pair of scissors and darning needle for sewing in your ends, and then also a tape measure will come in handy. The only other thing that you might need is maybe some blocking boards if you want to block these at the end, and also some fabric glue, which I will talk about a little bit later when it comes to fastening off the ties for the headband. As always, I'll leave links in the description box below where you can go and check everything out. Okay, let's get started. So you want to begin by creating your slip knots, and you can do that in whichever method you prefer. Go ahead and insert your crochet hook, and we want to begin by making a chain. So for the child size, we're going to be doing 51, and then for the adult size, we're going to be doing 67. So that's yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. That's 2, 3, 4, and 5. Go ahead, pause the video, work your chain of 51 or 67, and then meet me back once you're ready. Okay, so I now have my chain of 67 because I'm doing the adult size. And what we're going to do now is we're going to do a treble crochet, which is a US double crochet into the 4th chain from the hook. So not the one that's on the hook. We have 1, 2, 3, and 4, and we're going to be working into the back bump of the stitch. So if you turn it to the side, you see the back bumps. We're going to be working into there. So that's yarn over, insert into that 4th chain from the hook, yarn over, pull through, you'll have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, you'll have 2 loops on the hook, and then yarn over, pull through both loops on the hook. So that's our first treble crochet. These missed chains here do count as a stitch. Then we're going to do 1 stitch in each chain all the way across. So it's yarn over into the back bump of the next chain, yarn over, pull through, you'll have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, you'll have 2 loops on the hook, and yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. So go ahead and work 1 treble crochet, which is a US double crochet, in each of the back bumps or the spine of the chain all the way across, and then meet me back once you're ready. Okay, so now you've completed row 1. You should have 49 stitches for the children's version and 65 stitches for the adult version. So we'll move on to row 2. We're going to go ahead and chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and turn our work. This chain 5 counts as a UK treble crochet, which is a US double crochet, and a chain 2. We're going to skip the first stitch because this stitch is allocated to this chain 5. We'll skip the next stitch, and then we're going to work a double crochet, which is a US single crochet, into that stitch. So we'll go into the stitch, yarn over, pull through, you'll have 2 loops on the hook, and then yarn over, pull through both loops on the hook. We're going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're going to create a chain space by skipping 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and then in the 4th stitch we're going to work a UK double crochet, which is a US single crochet, just in there. And this is what we're going to repeat all the way across. We're going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, skip 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and then double crochet, which is US single crochet, into that next stitch. You'll work that all the way across until you do your last double crochet, US single crochet, in this stitch here, and you'll have those 2 stitches remaining. Remember, this last stitch is the turning chain from the previous row, so you'll have these 2 stitches remaining. So pause the video, work your way across, and then meet me back once you're ready. Okay, so I've now just worked my way across. I now have those 2 stitches remaining. What we're going to do is going to chain 2, and then we're going to work a treble crochet, which is a US double crochet, into the top of that chain 3 from the previous row. We can turn our work and move on to row 3. So for row 3, we're going to begin by working a double crochet into that very first stitch, so into the top of the treble, and then we're going to skip this first chain, and then we're going to work a series of stitches in this second chain. So we're going to start off by doing 3 treble crochets, 1, 2, and 3. Remember, that's a US double crochet. Chain 1, and then another 3 treble crochets, US double crochets, into that same chain space. 1, 2, and 3. We're then going to do a double crochet, US single crochet, into the next chain space, and then we're going to start that pattern repeat from here again. So we're going to do 3 treble crochets into the next chain space, 1, 2, 3, chain 1, and 3 treble crochets, US double crochets, into that same chain space, 2 and 3, and then double crochet, US single crochet, into the next chain space. So you're going to work that all the way across until you've done your last shell here, and I'm going to show you where you're going to place your final double crochet at the end just here. So meet me back once you've done your last shell, and I'll show you how to finish off. So we've now worked our way across, and then we have 1 final double crochet to do just here, and this will be the same for the child's and the adult version. We just have a few extra shells in the adult's version. So what we want to do is place our double crochet into the top of the chain 3 from the previous row, because this counts as a treble crochet and a chain 2. So we'll just work into the top or third chain from the bottom, and that is our row 2. We're now going to turn our work, and we're going to begin by chaining 6. So those first 3 chains will count as a treble crochet, US double crochet, and then we have a further 3 chains. So we're going to skip these first stitches and locate this chain 1 space and work a double crochet, US single crochet, into that chain 1 space. We're going to chain 3, 2, 3, skip 3 stitches, and then we're going to locate the double crochet, US single crochet, in between these 2 shells, and we're going to work a treble crochet, which is US double crochet, into that stitch. So yarn over into that double crochet, US single crochet from the previous row, yarn over, pull through. You'll have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. Chain 3, skip 3 stitches, locate that chain 1 space, and work a double crochet into there, which is US single crochet. And we're going to repeat this all the way across. Chain 3, treble crochet, chain 3, double crochet. So go ahead, work that all the way across. We'll be ending on a treble crochet, and I'm going to show you where you're going to place that very last stitch. So work your way across into the last chain 1 space, and then meet me back once you're ready. Okay, so I've worked my way to the last chain 1 space. I'm going to chain 3, and then the final treble, US double crochet, is going to go into this double crochet right at the beginning of the last round or row. So treble crochet into there, which is a US double crochet, and then we have completed row 4. So we're now going to move on to row 5. We're going to chain 3 and turn the work, and this is going to count as a treble crochet, US double crochet. And then we're going to be working into these chain spaces. So we're going to work 3 treble crochets, US double crochets into this first chain space. 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to be working into the next stitch. So this is a double crochet from the last round, US single crochet. Then 3 trebles into the chain space, 1, 2, and 3, and a treble crochet into the next stitch, which is the treble crochet from the last round, US double crochet, and then 3 stitches into the chain space, 1, 2, and 3, and a treble into the next stitch. So you're going to work that all the way across until you get to the last chain space. So pause the video, work your 3 stitches into this last chain space, and I'll show you how to finish off this row. Okay, so now you've worked your way across, you've done your last 3 stitches in that chain space, and now we're going to do the final one into the top of the chain 3 from the previous row. So work our treble into there, and now we have finished the main part of the headband, and what we want to do now is actually work on the ends. So we're going to be adding the end pieces here, followed by the chain. So as we're on this side already, we can just rotate our work to work down the row ends. So all I'm going to do is lift up my hook to create a slightly elongated stitch just here, and then I'm going to work 2 double crochets, US single crochets into that first row end, and then another 2 into this chain space, 1 and 2. If you feel like you need to, you can go ahead and grab a stitch marker and just pop that into that very first stitch just here. We're going to skip this row end just here and then work 2 double crochets into that next row end, which is the chain space. And then finally we have this last row end where we'll go into that row end, but I'm going to pop my last stitch just where the foundation chain is, just here. So now we have 8 stitches down this row end. We're going to turn the work, we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to work a double crochet into each stitch all the way across, which is a US single crochet. So that's 1 and 2. We can again place a stitch marker into that first stitch, and then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're going to turn the work. For row 3, chain 1 and work 1 double crochet in each stitch all the way across. And you're going to do that until you have done 4 rows. So we're on row 3 now. You want to chain 1 and work 1 stitch all the way across again for row 4. So pause the video, work those 2 rows, and then meet me back once you're ready. Okay, so now we're going to start decreasing. So we're going to chain 1 and turn the work. And for row 5, we're going to start off with a double crochet 2 together, which is a single crochet 2 together. We're going to insert the hook into that first stitch and yarn over, pull through. You'll have 2 loops on your hook. And then we're going to insert the hook into the next stitch and yarn over, pull through. You'll have 3 loops on your hook. And then yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on the hook. And that creates just 1 stitch. So we can take our stitch marker and mark that very first stitch. And then we're going to double crochet into the next 4 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. That leaves us with 2 stitches remaining. where we're going to do a double crochet 2 together, which is single crochet 2 together in US terms. So into the stitch, yarn over, pull through, 2 loops on the hook, into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, 3 loops on the hook, and then yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on the hook. Then we're going to turn our work for row 6, chain 1, and we're going to double crochet 2 together over these next stitches. So insert, yarn over, pull through, insert into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on the hook. You can go ahead and pop a stitch marker in there if you wish. Double crochet into the next 2 stitches, 1 and 2. You'll be left with 2 stitches remaining, and we're going to double crochet 2 together by inserting, yarn over, pull through, inserting into the last stitch, yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over, pull through all 3. For this final row, we're going to turn the work, chain 1, and then we only have 4 stitches, which we're going to double crochet 2 together twice. So that's our first double crochet 2 together, and then the next one, like so. And then we have one more row. Sorry, I think I said the last one was our last row, but we do have one more row because we have 2 stitches left, and we're going to double crochet 2 together in those stitches to create 1 stitch. Now what we want to do from here is we want to make a chain, and you can adapt this chain to however long or short you want it to be, but we want to make it long enough so that we can use it as a tie for our headband. So you can go ahead and make your chain, and then you can measure it to see how long you want it to be. I'm going to do mine around about 8 or 9 inches. So I'm just going to go ahead and continue chaining. Okay, so once I'm happy with my length, I'm just going to fasten off and pull that through. Now I'm going to give this a really good pull on the end just here, just to really tighten that last stitch, and it creates the knot. And what you can actually do here is you can take this quite short to the end, and I would suggest that you get some fabric glue and just pop a little bit of fabric glue on the end. You can weave in your end, but you find because it's just a chain, it pokes out. So you can either fasten off short like this and pop some fabric glue on the end, or you can weave in the end. It's totally up to you. But now what we're going to do is we're going to do exactly the same on the other side. So we want to turn the work, we want to make sure we have the right side facing. So the wrong side, you can see, just looks a little bit flatter, whereas the right side, we just get a bit of a neater look. So we're going to have the right side facing, and we're going to go ahead and join with a standing double crochet, which is a standing single crochet, into this very first stitch. So we want to almost get this on the foundation chain, so it's right at the edge. We have our slip knot on our hook, so I'm just going to find the base of this stitch and then insert, yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over, pull through both loops on that hook. So that's our first stitch. We're going to work another double crochet, which is single crochet in US, into that row end. We'll find the row end, which is a chain space, and work 2 into there, 1 and 2. We'll skip this next row end and then work into the next chain space row end. And then we're going to work 1 into the last row end, making sure that the final stitch is in the top of the stitch, just to help anchor that down. So we've just done our first row. You can go ahead and pause the video and re-watch this side and repeat the same thing. So we're starting off with those 4 rows of double crochet, US single crochet. So pause the video, rewind if you need to, and then meet me back once you're ready. Okay, so now you have both ends done. All that's left to do is to sew in the 2 tail ends, or it might be 4 if you are sewing in the tail ends just here. And the way that I like to do this is I like to go through the work, back and forth, and then back again. So I use the rule of 3. So going through the work an inch or so, pulling that through. I'm just going to straighten this out just to make sure it doesn't pucker the work, and then go back the other way, trying to make sure that I go through different fibers, slightly different path, and pull through, and then just stretch again, and then just once more going back the other way, like so. And then you can just go ahead and snip off your tail end. So you've now completed the Charmer headband. You can go ahead and give these a little block so that you have some really lovely stitch definition and can really see this beautiful pattern. And you can have fun playing around with different colours with this. So if you've made this, make sure that you tag me on social media so that I can see your makes. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel to make sure that you keep up to date with all of my latest videos and patterns. And if you liked this video, then you may also like this one too.